ごい高級住宅街だ。だだっ広いですよね。のどかだ。
Ah, Watson, it seems we have arrived at the place. Look there, on the iron door.
Looks like no one is here, Holmes.
It's a pity, Watson. This is our only lead. Good morning, miss. Please don't be alarmed. We won't harm you, my dear. What is your name?
Beulah, sir.
Lovely. When we arrived here, you were looking through this gate. This is the residence of Mr. Arnson, isn't it? Do you know him?
Yes, sir.
Do you know if he is at home?
Don't rightly know, sir.
Watson.
Come now, don't distress yourself like this. Why all these tears?
Because of my little brother, Davy. He serves with Mr. Arneson, and been more than 5 days since I heard from him.
Perhaps he went on a trip with Mr. Arnson.
No, sir. Tain't likely. I serves at the Gallagher's just the other side of the road. If they had left, I would have seen them. Something bad has happened. I can feel it.
But if you were so near, surely your brother would have cried out for help if there had been any real danger.
No, sir. Davy, he ain't like you and me. He's right smart in some ways. But Davy can't talk. Not a word. Besides, most evenings, we visits and sees each other across the stable door. And been more than 5 days since he been there. Oh, sir. I be mighty scared. Something has happened to him. I just knows it.
Miss, take us to this stable. Watson, I think this place is indeed isolated, and therefore quite vulnerable.
There it be. I'm gonna go wait on the road. That way, if my mistress calls for me, I can hear.
なるほど。あの女の子の弟が、女の子の勤めてるのがこの家で、この向かいのホームズが来た豪邸が女の子の弟が勤める、使用人として勤める豪邸だっていうことです。で、もう5日間何も音沙汰がないと。
It is hardly secure, Watson. Regard the lock. It has a primitive wooden latch, which is also quite flimsy.
しかし、ホームズに開けられない鍵はない。
Bravo, Holmes! Holmes, this horse is dying of thirst. Poor animal.
He has had no water for these past 5 days, Watson.
Unbearable. He can barely move. We must find him some water, and quickly.
Nails. For a horseshoe, undoubtedly.
馬小屋から入ってきたんですね。
I hope this gate is not locked, because it appears quite formidable. Open!
まずは馬にある水を探さなきゃ。
Observe, Watson, these beautiful, well-tended flowers. Someone must care for them.
う
closed tight.
Look, Holmes, a raccoon. Come here, you little rascal.
They won't allow us too close, Watson, though the little imps are rather inquisitive by nature. Footsteps. Let's see. Some footsteps or marks, not clear enough to make out. Let's see if there are others. Blood. However, given the small amount, the wound should be superficial. Wait, this is interesting. There is a trace of mud here. Some footsteps or marks, not clear enough to make out. Let's see if there are others. Another footstep. The hunt is on, Watson. Watson, regard the traces in the soil. A body was dragged here recently. Undoubtedly it was a man of great size. More traces of mud. A person wearing shoes thick with fresh mud entered the garden by this gate. They entered the house and then returned, dragging a body back along the way. This erased some signs of their former movements, but not entirely. Fortunately, I have a particular talent for tracing footsteps. A neglected art indeed.
Holmes のメモ。アーネソン氏の庭園にて。アーネソン邸の庭で泥がついた靴の足跡を見つけた。どうやら正門から庭に侵入し、屋敷の入り口に行き、それから誰かの体を引きずってどこかへ運んでいったらしい。地面の足跡は消された痕跡があったが、泥と少量の血が残っていた。
Ah, Holmes! There are thousands of these mosquitoes.
We must turn back, Watson, or we shall be devoured. This should prove useful. This should prove useful. This should prove useful. This should prove useful.
ここでなぜか花を摘みましたね。これで、一応ブーケを作っておきます。まあ後々使うんですけどね。あとさっきのところで、メタルロッドを、鉄の棒を手に入れました。とりあえず家の中に入ってみます。
What a wretched smell, Holmes.
Quite wretched, Watson. It is the foul stench of death. Blood! Ah, it's a ham. What a delectable aroma. If only I were hungry. Watson, hold the basin. I think you know what to do with it.
皿で水を汲んで馬を助けます。今操作してるのはワトソンです。結構ホームズはワトソンを使い走りますからね。
Easy now, fellow. Drink up.
戻ろう。ゴキブリが大量発生してるな。
Here you are, Watson. The body was dragged from behind this door. Blood! Watson, what do you make of this?
What a horrific sight. It has lain here for at least a week.
On the contrary, Watson, once again you see, but fail to observe. The warmth of the local climate and the exceptional humidity undoubtedly sped up the rate of decomposition. Based upon my calculations, the body has been here for 5 days. Let's examine the hands. They are calloused, with traces of dirt under the nails. This would be the gardener, no doubt. This must be Arnson. He appears fond of cigars. Papers were burned, and great care was taken to destroy everything of any value to our case. We will find nothing further in this place. They killed the man who was sitting there, and the trail of blood begins here. So this would be the body they dragged through the gate. Interesting. The person who sat here was fond of cigars. Blood! Champagne. Maybe this will satisfy that old man of the same name. This blood on the ground came from a deep wound. I cannot budge the handle. They must have lodged something behind it to hold fast the door. Shh, Watson, listen. Whoever you are, open up. We mean you no harm. Open the door for God's sake. It's a matter of life or death.
This is useless, Holmes.
Watson, your sensibility is appreciated. We shall come back later. These footsteps indicate a person of small stature, and the fact that they are so closely set suggests they made their way with great stealth. What's this? Someone placed their hand near this footstep. Judging by the size of the fingers, it seems to be a youth. Why would they lean down here? Of course, to pick something up. Curious, there are some mud that appears to have come from underneath the bed. Yes, there is something here. A stone of small size, but of splendid colour. It seems to have no flaws, and I doubt that it originated in the American continent. These clothes belong to a servant, and judging from their size, he is a small man. Arnson, with his servant, no doubt.